And we are live. Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to Thursday, May 23rd, the Rise Up Morning Show. It's helpful news, commentary, answers to your crypto questions, and it's also my birthday today. How great is that? I've made it to another year, 33, feeling so free, and so glad, so glad to be here with you today. I gotta say, I really appreciate the opportunity to hang out with you a couple times a week here. All of this stuff has been such a joy for my life, and so to share it with you means the world to me. I'm glad you're here. Whether you're watching on TikTok, whether you're watching on YouTube, now or in the future, this is the place for helpful news, commentary, and answers to your crypto questions. And that's how I'll start while we wait for Alex to get here. I will just say, as people come in the room, thank you so much. Thank you, Jim. I see you're here. Thank you for the likes. Very kind of you. Thank you for making this part of my life so rich and fulfilling. It's only been a few years here on TikTok, but boy, I'm so glad I whipped my phone out of my pocket and committed to making a video, because all of the friends I've made here, the things we've discovered together, the relationships we've shared, the ideas that we've bantered back and forth, they've just added so much to my life. It's been really enriched because of you. So, Alex, no, you don't have any sound, my friend. I got sound. It's just you. I hope Alex can understand my sign language. If somebody else is not getting sound, leave it in the comments. Alex, tap the button and come on up here. Come on up here. I'm gonna say, let me think of all the terrible, mean things I can say about Alex while he can't hear me.
Class.
Check 1, 2, 3.
Class. We got it. We're good.
You got it now. Okay, great. Well, welcome. Alex, I was mercilessly roasting you as soon as I found out you couldn't hear me. And before that, I was just saying thanks to everybody for making my birthday a special day of reflection and remembrance, because I have so much joy in my life because of TikTok, because of the people who are here, who have supported my journey to express thoughts, explore ideas, and do the show. Especially, it's the biggest part of my time on TikTok now, is the time we all spend together here, and it makes a big difference in my life. Alex is awesome too. Yeah, he is. He definitely is awesome too.
I was excited to hopefully join you in a celebratory cup of coffee.
Yes, absolutely. I've got coffee, and Kim got me some Grand Marnier.
Ooh.
She also got me, look at these beautiful flowers. She got me these wonderful roses, and then arranged them with these cool little, what's it guys, herself. Aren't those great? I'm pretty sure, I'll recap the rest of it. She got me a bunch of pastries, some sourdough bread, big bread guy. She got me some cinnamon toast crunch, which I'm very excited about. An extremely thoughtful card, some guitar strings, some this and that. She's gonna send me out to lunch later, and I'm just very lucky to be alive. There was a sunflower blossoming. There was a little kitten outside today who said hi, and all that stuff. Classic question, as we reflect on birthday joy, is what about the ETH ETF, man? What about that for a birthday present? How do you feel about it, Alex? Did you do that?
Did I do what?
You talked to Gary. You told him that's what I wanted, was an Ethereum ETF for my birthday, right?
I threatened him, yes.
You shouldn't have.
But look, Gary, it's been far too long since my baseball bat has tasted the sweet tones of kneecap.
The sweet kneecaps. I suspect that he doesn't really have much kneecap left or much backbone. I think he's mostly just a jelly guy.
Yeah, I just, man, what a fall from grace. Because, dude, the MIT course still holds up. It really
still
does.
Holds up. Makes me sad.
It still holds up. It's still so good. But now every time I watch it, I'm just like, the meme where Arthur's fist is just like.
Yeah. So to answer your question, we don't have a firm, hard approval decision, but it is pending approval, which is about as official as it gets in the time leading up to the deadline for their actual official statement. Hester hasn't written a letter yet. Gary hasn't written a letter yet. The bell hasn't tolled, as it were. But unless we get a reversal of the reversal, which certainly could happen, we are totally fully expecting that the ETF is on. And it's likely that once they announce it, it will take a few more weeks, possibly a couple of months, for the ETF to actually be a tradable product on the market. I actually had a really good conversation, if you could call it that, with Will today. He made that video on our Discord sharing that he thought in the short term the price would go down, and I responded to it and said, I disagree. I don't disagree with any of the research he had done. I thought it was fantastic, well-articulated thought, but I have come to an opposite and different conclusion. And let me just say, we agree all the time on a lot of stuff, but when we don't, that's what I like about Will too. He has great, laid out thoughts that I can follow and engage with substantively, even if I disagree with them. So it was a lot of fun to actually get on and say, no, actually, I think in the short term, if we get the approval, because the ETFs probably won't be tradable for a few more weeks, and because the Ethereum sentiment has been so low, I don't think the ETFs are priced in, man. I think people were expecting a disapproval, and I think they're gonna get excited about it. I wouldn't be surprised if in the short term number go up.
I think that even the bullish case, prediction wise lately, was for a delay, because that would indicate that not a flat out rejection, and this is a total 180, but at the same time, not enough to put this together, but I definitely expected to see something this year from one of the two parties vying for control, just because, like I said in my video yesterday, they got an election to win. So
yeah, right.
You gotta grip when you're this unpopular. You gotta grip support however you can get it.
Oh my God. And I honestly don't feel that politically advised yet. So I'm expecting that feeling of let me protect you to just, as the year goes on, big time.
One of them is literally leading with the bumper sticker, "Let's build a Bitcoin army," just several years after saying that it was a scam and that the dollar was the one true currency. So just remember that if you're feeling motivated.
There we go. Grand Marnier and coffee is the go-to birthday treat. If you need a birthday treat, the show is not sponsored by Grand Marnier, but it could be. I would not be mad about that.
It could be.
It could be. So to clarify again, Robbie, yes, I did say it was done yesterday. This is my careless language. It is done. It is pending approval. It is, it is the 11th hour for the ETF. The official approval has to come today. I mean, it doesn't have to come today. It could have come before today, but all signs that we see point to yes. It's an approved product. Could they change their mind? Certainly. It would be wild.
But to be clear,
I don't know what time the specific deadline is, but I expect it may happen while we're on the air.
I was going to say could they technically change their mind? Yes, but that would not be like we actually didn't approve it. It would be a never mind. We are now going to cancel. So up to this point, it's on track. But as we know, when it serves their purpose, they can ram something through real quick.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know about you, but I'm expecting to see more movement in the immediate term too from Bitcoin. I think that will be interesting, and I say that with the total and complete caveat that no crystal ball here. But everybody has been talking a lot about Bitcoin kind of doing this for a minute, and then most recently kind of doing this. Just a little tiny little dip. So I think everybody's kind of looking for that too. Don't know. We'll see. Yes, Rick.
Just real quick. two things that I said yesterday. Well, one and a half things that I said yesterday that so far hold up to be true. I am now seeing speculation, including one trending story on CryptoPanic about a Solana spot ETF.
Okay, so that was going to be my question: is what are we getting next? They're saying Solana is coming next.
If you missed it, I did not say we were going to get another altcoin spot ETF. I said people were going to start talking about them more seriously, and because of ETH, I think Bitcoin was kind of a given, right? Bitcoin should have an ETF. ETH is 100% a gateway ETF, and I'm not going to be surprised if people start trying to make a case for all kinds of other ETFs now that should exist. And interestingly, there was a conversation with, I love this dude. I don't know if he's going to be a consensus, but if he is, I'm going to find you. He posted a pretty compelling little baby argument about how he doesn't think Solana should have an ETF, or why it doesn't make sense, or whatever, at least at this stage. And I thought it was well written. And he's one of the lead core developers that works on the Solana ecosystem. So, but that's kind of why I like him, because he's an objective guy who occasionally shit posts when it makes sense. So I respect that. But kind of just a whole bunch of other stuff about
kind of thoughts about why. Do you remember?
Here, well, let me just
maybe throw the link in the Discord too for people who want to see it. And then I would be curious to know what everyone in the comments thinks. What is the next cryptocurrency like ETF filing we're going to see? I'll tell you mine in a second. And Rick asked about Fit21, so we can definitely talk about that for sure.
The Pepe,
also,
the Pepe
Fit21.
ETF.
Sorry, go ahead.
The Pepe ETF.
The Pepe
That's
ETF.
the next launch.
Fit21 sounds like a name for, I don't know, a yoga studio for like your college campus chain yoga studio, Fit21. But they also do Pilates and group workout classes. I don't know, with a coffee bar or something like that. And at night, it's a club, Fit21. Litecoin ETF, Rydog says XRP ETF. I personally think I would say Litecoin or Dogecoin would not surprise me. XRP would surprise me only because I think the litigation around it is going to make it one way or the other. But I definitely think Litecoin will have one. Litecoin is like the most supported by people outside of crypto that I know, aside from Bitcoin and Ethereum, I feel like. Are you able to find it there, Alex?
This motherfucker tweets so much.
Yeah, no kidding. What's the handle? Is it 0x Mertz?
I'll dig. Yeah, it's 0x Mertz with an underscore, MERT.
Yeah. Oh, just a Mert. I thought it was Mertz for some reason. So my bad there.
I think the passage of the bill, it's a good thing. I tried to like lay the nuance in when I made the video, but like I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. Like I hope that this grifting from both sides of the aisle will result in a net positive for the space, regulation wise. Like let's get something on paper that helps us move forward, helps us get a little bit of clarity, helps someone do stuff. But I do not trust even for a second that once like agenda has been served, so like once guy A keeps power, or once guy B gets back to power and pays off all of his legal fees with the crypto pack money, then I expect sentiment to change. And I expect there to be like, well, okay, let's calm down. Let's not be hasty. Let's walk it back a little bit. Because I don't trust either of them. I would say as far as I can throw them, but I bet you I could get like an inch out of it, and I don't trust them that much. So
I do appreciate what Fit21 does to lay the groundwork for better, more helpful legislation. You know, like there's some stuff in that bill. I have not read the bill personally, but I have seen some, trustworthy reviews of it that make me think that we're going to get clearer guidelines here and going forward about like what is the SEC's job when it comes to crypto? What is the CFTC's job when it comes to crypto? And what are they able to do? I think overregulation, not so good. But at this point, we just don't have any clarity. No. So Problem Solver says Fit 21 is good for my abs. That's the commercial right there. Hire Sean T and put it on a t-shirt. A bunch of beautiful people to walk around your town and sell it. $5 off coupon. It's only $60 for a hot yoga session. Fit 21. The bill was proposed by someone named French Hill, or at least they're one of the people who are on the bill. A congressperson whose name I had never heard before, but who also sounds like they would have a business that is a fitness business called Fit 21 by French Hill. You know? Oh, and here's Will. Billy boy.
Speak of the devil.
Speak of the devil. Hey, man, what's going on?
Oh, nothing much, man. Just wait. No, camera. How do I turn this around?
Camera.
Oh, technology. Why am I so bad at it? Maverick, say hi.
Hey, bud.
Maverick. Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh.
He's a big pupper. All right. How do I switch this back again?
No, you can leave.
I should get. You would think I would get better at this, but
we would think. But if you don't, we would keep him. You said his name is Maverick.
Yeah, his name's Maverick.
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 We keep Maverick.
He's a little baby boy. He's a little big boy.
Is he your only child?
He is my only child. His name is Maverick Tater Watson.
Maverick Tater Watson? Oh my gosh. One of the most legendary animals or people I've ever met in my life was a cat named Tater who lived to be almost as old as me. He was
good. I hope that means longevity for Mav.
So Tater, that's about the best name he could have. Let me tell you right there.
No, yeah,
wow. I can't wait to tell her
happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you very much. Did you see that I kicked off my birthday by replying to your video in our general chat?
I don't think I did. No, I've just been
I'll give you the TLDR. I was thrilled. I thought you made a really great video. And I haven't made the commercial pitch yet. So listen, people, if you're not in the Discord server, what are you doing? It's free to get in there and hang out with us and ask questions that aren't limited by like characters. We can respond to videos and stuff. Alex just ran away. I don't know why, but we're all there when the show is off. And Will posted a great video yesterday about your position on ETFs in the short term, price action and whatnot. And I loved it because I actually disagreed with it. I don't disagree with any of the research or analysis you've done, but I sort of came to a different conclusion. And I was saying to Alex before you got on, one of my favorite things to do with like sensible crypto people is hear why they arrived at the conclusions they did based on sound research, and then look at the information myself and have like a very productive discussion about the places we agree and disagree. And so I just, was giving you a rose for that. I thought it was great.
Well, all I'm going to do is yell at you that you're wrong and not provide anything else in terms of additional context or explanations. I'm just going to scream and yell, and then I'm going to go on Twitter. I'm going to start tweeting.
Good. I'm going to make a meme of you with a watermelon instead of a head. So there.
I love watermelon, so joke's on you.
Oh, great. Fine. Wonderful.
Yeah. Good. It's refreshing, and you can eat it. It's really nice.
Good for my skin? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Daddy, this is my father.
Hi there.
I'm home because it's my mom's birthday.
Oh my gosh, it's your mother's birthday as well?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Tell her happy birthday from someone who, how old is she today?
She is 74, 73. Wow. Yes, that was close.
Tell her I'm 40 years behind her, but to warm it up for me because I'll be there soon. And happy birthday.
I'll be sure. Except they'll be like, hey, mom, Evan wants you to warm up 53 form, and she'll be like, "That's right, I'm 53." That impersonation is also a perfect impersonation of my mother. 100%. Oh, yeah. I'm Will's mom. That's it, right there.
She even looks like you, right?
Yep, it's just me, but with long hair, same chin.
Oh no!
Mm-hmm.
Had to get it from
No. Mom is far prettier.
Well, I'm very
is this
yep.
Boston-ish?
No, this is Maine.
Back up to Maine. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm up in the woods near the beach.
Well, thank you for making time to join us on your mother's birthday. Listen, man, we don't want to take you away. We were talking about the ETFs before you came in. I don't know what time exactly the bell is supposed to ring, and we're supposed to get the fall of a hammer and Gary's statement and Hester's letter. But do you have any thoughts on it? We were talking about that, and we were talking about the passage of Fit 21.
Fit 21.
You came in.
Yeah, I don't know when it's all going to happen because the vote went through yesterday and passed by one vote, right? It was like 204 to 203, I think it was.
I don't have the tally, but can look it up.
Yeah, I have some screenshots. I was going to make a video on it later. But yeah, it passed. So it passed the House, passed the Senate. Biden said he's not going to veto it. So I'm not sure when exactly it's official. But it's a good thing. It's nice to see that crypto is now like a bipartisan issue in politics. And everyone's just like, we like it. Vote for me.
Yeah.
And I'm
exactly.
like,
right.
Cool, perfect. That's great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yes. Say positive things about crypto to get my vote. Whatever makes my bag go up the highest. Please. Yes. Thank you.
I think it's a real feather in the cap of people like A16Z, people like Coinbase, who have spent a tremendous amount of time and effort lobbying on Capitol Hill. Chris Dixon, my guy, he's been hitting it hard. I was telling Alex yesterday, I just learned that the third biggest PAC at like $109 million or something like that, which is not an insignificant or tremendous sum of money now that we live in a world of trillions kind of thing. It's a crypto PAC.
Yeah.
So,
which I'm all for, even though I don't like super PACs, but I love this super PAC. But
this one's okay.
Yeah, it's cool because what I'm curious to see happens is because Fit 21, puts crypto under the jurisdiction of, the CFTC and like one other group, right? Like officially.
Yes, CFTC and the SEC. They supposedly has drawn clearer guidelines to sort of, help us see whose role is what. I haven't, like I said, read the bill, but it sounds like it's a good foundation and precedent to move in that direction.
Yeah, and one thing I think might happen is I feel like there are going to be a few of the lawsuits that the SEC has with crypto companies that are just going to end up getting thrown out because the SEC won't have jurisdiction over either the entirety of them or portions of them at the least. So I'm curious to see like what dominoes are going to fall because of that. And like maybe the SEC Coinbase, if the SEC Coinbase lawsuit, just SEC is like, cool, throwing this out, we're dropping all charges because we don't have jurisdiction anymore. That would be delicious. It'd be so good. It would be amazing for the market. I think that'd be the greatest thing.
It's going to be interesting because I can't think of another time in the history of law enforcement or the judicial system where the right to prosecute or jurisdiction has changed mid-case for anything noteworthy.
Yeah, right.
And so I don't think there's like solid precedent for it. And I would be curious to see how it's going to go because I could see it going one of two ways. One, like, hey, things have changed, refile, and then a judge needs to determine whether or not you have legitimate grounds to bring the case. Or two, if some form of resolution is allowed to be reached because it was brought, and I hate that I'm about to say this, but legally it's true, in good faith prior to the jurisdictional change, which I think will be interesting just because there's just like, I mean, everything in law is precedent. And if it's not precedent, it takes forever. So if someone's going to set precedent off of something like this happening, it's going to have to go, to another judge, and it's going to have to get, but like, yeah. So like Robbie pointed out, it would have a different impact on a live case that is currently being litigated versus a case that has not started, that is exclusively Wells notice. So like, I would be less worried about Uniswap carrying on than I would about, like, will this end things between the SEC and Ripple or anything else that they currently have, ongoing, being litigated.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be a weird one.
It is going to be weird. And then Robbie Ray's shop also mentioned, like, would it scrub all Wells notices? I mean, maybe too, because like the jurisdiction changes. So what they're looking to pursue in a lawsuit, it might not even be viable anymore.
That's right.
They would have to probably get collaboration or a refiling of the Wells notice from the body with the new authority to do it. And if they didn't want to or wouldn't for whatever reason, then I would imagine it would probably just go away. I guess it's kind of interesting, the only close proximity, which is not the same thing at all, but they might be able to draw reference on something like this, is if the law enforcement officer, the individual, becomes discredited for whatever reason, then all previously litigated or prosecuted cases or ongoing cases are either dropped or re-examined. Like if a cop is found to be planting evidence, anyone that cop has given the definitive testimony on that sentenced them or was the defining moment in that case, that gets brought back up again because now we have to question everything that cop did. So maybe they could reference something like that.
One of the interesting implications, I think, is that though those lawsuits or the Wells notices filed by the SEC might be changed, that's not going to change the case for like the consensus lawsuit, where they are like consensus, the plaintiff versus the SEC. I think it's a countersuit that they filed. That lawsuit is not going to change at all. And so I think it's really, what an interesting time to be Gary Gensler. You know what I mean? Like, first of all, imagine the day he leaves MIT and the camera stops rolling and he's like, I feel so good about blockchain. And then he gets the letter and it's like, welcome to Hogwarts. Would you like to be the chair of the SEC? And he's like, wow, boy, would I. I'm going to be so great. And then just his life is a series of dominoes falling. He gets a call from Joe Biden who's like, Gary, I need this ETF to go through. And, Hester is picking on him in a lunchroom and he's serving these Wells notices. He's let me protect you. And he's just getting sanctioned by judges. And I don't know.
There's a part of me
I'm worried about it.
There's a part of me that does feel bad for Gary Gensler because I don't think he's an individual person. I think he's like a sock puppet that whatever politician wants to use his mouthpiece for does. So like, he was at MIT, right? I think it was MIT. He's like very positive about crypto. I'm like, cool. Like those are his real thoughts because that was him. Yeah. And then he's like, oh, do you want to be given the head position at Hogwarts via the SEC? And then he gets put there and they're like, cool, but we need you to do these things. And then he has a sock puppet of whatever political powers are speaking for him. And now he's like, cool, if I sacrifice my individuality, I'll get rewarded. This is going to be great. And a couple of years go by and now like the entire world hates him. And now he's on the opposite end of the politician sock puppets who are using him. And now they're just using him in a different way. But it's going to brand him as this like horribly inept person. And so now he's like, cool, I was the head of Hogwarts and I thought everything was going to be great, but now I'm just like being thrown into what is it, Azkaban? Yep. What is it, the prison? Whatever it is, right? My Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Terminology
he's
is
just, he's a Death Eater. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now he's just like a sad sock puppet that's going to get like thrown to the side as all the politicians who were using him before are like, crypto's great. That guy sucks. And he's going to be like, I thought you were my friends. So there's a part of me that feels a little bad for Gary just because I feel like he hasn't been able to be himself. He made that deal. He made that deal with the devil though himself. But, I'm just like, poor Gary. Anyway, moving on.
I mean, the guy at some point has to think like, I'm not going to be in this position forever. Do I care at all about my legacy? Because right now it's just getting ratioed on Twitter and probably Hester beating me up in the parking lot after work every day and taking my lunch money.
Yeah. I do like the idea of that like middle school, high school dynamic still existing in like top levels of our government though.
Absolutely. The lunchroom at the SEC, you just know, is like Gary's eating an egg salad sandwich with like his cronies. And as Hester walks by, like they all kind of look down or look away or like sneer at her. Mm-hmm. Somebody like knocks her water over and is like, oops, whatever.
I mean,
and then by the end of the season of like SEC high, like she becomes the cool kid finally, and like she's made the head of the SEC or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, she writes his name in lipstick on the mirror, and he's like the next hit in her burn book or what. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can I just say, that's the thing about the ETH ETF that I'm most looking forward to about anything the SEC does is I want to see Hester's comments. I want to see her official statement. That's what
all I want.
for. I don't watch the C-SPAN like Kai Taras said. I would never, but I am refreshing the website looking for what did Hester say.
I'm just waiting for Hester's piece to just be 3 words, like, official opinion, whatever. Hester Pierce, yada yada, commissioner. That's right, bitch.
Nice. Well, Evan, do you want to talk about your position on the ETH ETF and see if we can have a little healthy?
Let me tell you what I think real quick, and then we can do a back and forth on that, and then we do have some questions in the comments. We had a question about Noble Blocks. Our friend Simon, who's a premium member on our Discord, he asked about some DeFi protocols. I thought it might be good to do a refresher on, like, if you're new to cryptocurrency, especially, or you're not into DeFi yet, decentralized finance, what is staking? Where can you earn, be your own bank, do those kind of things? What are the risks and benefits associated with it? Share some resources. That sound good to you guys?
Yeah, that's good. And for coins, I don't even know. I'll like pull up some things on like DeFi Llama and a few things. So can we
DeFi Llama is honestly what I wanted to tell. I wanted to tell people DeFi Llama, and I'm going to be posting in our Discord later. One of the resources I'm going to make available for folks is going to be a fantastic PDF. It's called How to DeFi. There's a beginner version that assumes no previous experience, and there's an advanced version. The last time it was updated was a couple years ago. So some of the particular references are out of date, but everything is still very relevant. It's a super sound fundamental book. It's great for anybody who wants to understand this stuff. And DeFi Llama, that's my go-to. So let's definitely talk about it in a second. But my TLDR on the ETH ETF position, the question everybody wants to know is how is this going to affect the markets? And my position was ETH sentiment. And you can look at different metrics to kind of measure this, but especially inside the crypto space, also outside the crypto space, potential litigation incoming. ETF, we thought it was going to get rejected, but also inside the crypto space, sentiment has been really low for ETH. It's like the most hated, most known crypto. And we don't understand why. Everybody who's an ETH hardcore maxi, why? And so because we got this kind of sudden reversal on policy, I don't think, first of all, the approval has been, maybe at this point, I haven't looked at the charts today, has been priced in. We've seen a lot of volatility by a number of metrics in the last week. We've seen some institutional money move in. I think people are starting to react to the approval, but I don't think it's there yet. And I also think that in the short term, because the thing that kicked this whole frenzy off, the approval frenzy, was the request for comment, a 19B4, submitted by the Markets and Trading Division of the SEC. There is another document that the ETF approvals have to go through. It's the Corporate Finance Division. It's called an S1, Bitcoin ETFs. They were back and forthing this since October of last year. And we didn't get that approval till January. I think it is probable that even if today we get the bell tolling, it's totally good, it's approved, they're going to have to go back and forth on that S1 before anybody is able to buy or sell an ETH ETF. And it may take weeks or months before that product is tradable, and therefore like the inflow or outflow, the impact will come to fruition. I think in the meantime, what's going to happen is that bullishness of the approval will get priced in, and we're going to see number go up in the short term. Or I don't know, maybe it'll be a selling news event and I'll be wrong. I don't think the outflows that you talked about, Will, are likely to happen. They're not going to happen until the project is tradable, is what I think. And then I think in the slightly longer term, because of the election FOMO around crypto, the existence of an ETF, I'm expecting, based on what I've heard from different folks, Eric Balchunas, et cetera, a target of like 15 to 20% is the bull case volume from the ETH ETFs that we got from Bitcoin. That would be amazing to me. I would be like, wow, this is a great day. And I expect that that's going to give us some of this too. So TLDR, I'm expecting which is slightly different than what you proposed. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, either of you, and then I'd love for you to articulate more about why you thought that in the short term they go down.
Well, I think you and I are pretty similar in terms of the that
Yeah.
chart. And that's
very
serious
analysis.
technical analysis, everybody. That is very serious technical analysis. And I think it's an interesting point you bring up about the S1 filing. Like, there's not a ton of time. They get the approval. There'll probably be a few more T's to cross, I's to dot. So I remember when the Bitcoin ETF came out, I looked to go and see how long it took for the gold ETF. Once it was like given the thumbs up, when it actually went live, it was about 4 or 5 days later. With Bitcoin's ETF, it was super fast. It was like 24 hours, and it was like the next day. But they had done a lot of work on that. With the
they were
ETH
talking
ETF,
back and forth for months.
Yeah. And so I imagine it'll take, once a thumbs up is given for ETH, I imagine it'll take longer than Bitcoin. I'd be shocked if it was 24 hours it's going to be live. But I don't think it's going to take weeks either. The reason why is because you can I would imagine, and I don't know this for certain at all, but I would imagine you can copy paste a lot of the Bitcoin ETF regarding the S1 for the ETH ETF and just kind of replace a few names, have a review process, maybe have a couple red lines or whatever you add, and then you're done. So I imagine there's a lot that you can kind of copy from the Bitcoin process for the S1s for the ETH ETF. So I think it's going to be longer than 24 hours. I think it's going to be far shorter than multiple weeks. I would think it's probably going to be, and this is just a guess, right? Just because I don't know. I think it's going to be more similar to like a week, 5 days, like the gold ETF was. So what I think would happen, so those are my thoughts on that. But so what I think is going to happen is the approval is going to happen, and we're immediately given the date of when they think it's going to go live. So we're immediately given a new date for the buy the rumor, sell the news.
Yeah.
So you can keep
and that's
buying.
Important.
Yeah, that's important because we're immediately given a new date. So the sell the news event isn't going to be when the approval happens. Some people will do that. The majority of people will set the sell the news event for when it goes live, which is what happened with the Bitcoin ETF too. So it'll pump. It gets approved. Right. So we've had the pump. Let's say it definitely gets approved. Knock on wood. Gets approved. And then we get the date of when it goes live. It'll keep pumping to about or just before that date. And then we'll have the sell the news people. And then my thought process is, if the grayscale Ethereum ETF is also converted at the same time, and if it's not, this won't happen, but if it is converted at the same time, that opens up the floodgates for $10 billion plus of outflows. It won't be all 10 billion, of course.
Can you zoom in on that a little quick for anybody who didn't get to see your video before? Because I think people are like, where's he getting $10 billion from? Just connect the dots for
Yeah,
him.
good point. So if you're familiar with how the ETFs have been working since Bitcoin's ETFs went live, Grayscale sold for pretty much the first 3 months. And the reason why they were able to sell is because they had a bunch of Bitcoin in a Bitcoin trust that they had offered for years. And so what they did is, in order to get people interested in investing in Bitcoin from an institutional standpoint, they offered Bitcoin at a discount. And so, like, when Bitcoin was at $3,000, like 6 years ago now or something, 7 years ago, whenever it was, they were offering it for like $2,000 or $1,500 to be able to buy into their Bitcoin trust. So for years, people were able to buy Bitcoin in their Grayscale trust at super, super, super cheap discounts. And most of these investors were speculators. So when their ETF went live, what they did is they didn't just make a new product. They converted their current Bitcoin trust into an ETF product, and it opened up the sell option essentially for these investors. And so what happened is we had about 3 months of outflows from Grayscale, which was a lot of it was pure selling. A lot of it was people moving away from Grayscale towards like BlackRock and other funds that offered a much cheaper management fee, because BlackRock had like a 0.25% fee, and Grayscale had like a 1.25% fee. So in the world of finance, that's a massive difference, right?
Yeah,
particularly
absolutely.
if you have large sums of money. The percentage is small, but for $100 million, 1.25% is far more than 0.25%, right? It's money you want to keep. So that resulted in all these outflows. Now, Grayscale has offered the same product for Ethereum for years. They have $10 billion plus in Ether in their Ethereum trust right now that will be converted into an Ethereum ETF. Now, what we don't know is we don't know what fee they're going to have attached to that. If it's the same model as their Bitcoin one, it'll be 1.25%, and it'll be far more expensive. They are also offering, though, an Ethereum mini trust, which is a new product that's going to be able to offer an Ethereum ETF at a much smaller fee. And they're doing the same thing with their Bitcoin one, too, which is part of the reason why the outflows have slowed down and stopped at Grayscale. So that could be an additional element here in my theory of massive outflows of Ethereum kind of being mitigated a bit, and it's an unknown. But what I would expect to happen, the data that I have, is that once this Ethereum ETF is converted, or not Ethereum ETF, their Ethereum trust is converted, the majority of those $10 billion invested in by speculators who are able to buy Bitcoin at a huge discount, which means they are in massive profits right now, are far more incentivized to sell.
Yeah.
And then to hold, because they're in a ton of profit. And that would be, let's say 70% of those $10 billion is likely to be sold or outflow. That's $7 billion that the other ETH ETF products need to eat up. That's a lot of money. I forget what the stats were with the Bitcoin ETF, but in the first quarter, it was like $10 billion of inflows.
I thought it was 15, but it's in that ballpark.
Yeah, it's
I
in
know
that
that's a big
ballpark.
difference, but it's a
And
lot of money.
so if I think you said Eric Balchunas was like, maybe we expect 15 or 20% of that volume for Ethereum. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 10%, right?
Yeah.
And the reason
Which would still be pretty bullish, but
which would still be pretty bullish, but it's not going to eat up in the first quarter that $7 billion of outflows, right? And the reason why the Ethereum ETF volume will be lower, most likely, in my speculation, is because the reason why institutional investors and very large retail investors buy Ethereum as opposed to Bitcoin is because they want exposure to a safe cryptocurrency whose price can go up a lot in comparison to stocks and can give them passive income via staking. These ETH ETF products do not offer staking. So the main reason why institutional investors buy Ethereum is not included in these ETH ETFs. So the volume, there will still be inflow volume, mind you. It's still going to be a good thing for ETH, but out the gate, this product doesn't include the reason why big money buys Ethereum in the first place. And you have a very, very incentivized group of people with a lot of Ethereum incentivized to sell. So that's why I think once this ETF product goes live, we have that pump, it goes live, and then we have the buy the rumor, sell the news people, and then we have Grayscale selling $300 million a day, $150 million a day, for the first month, and then that'll begin to taper off. And maybe the ETH mini trust goes live and they can convert them over, and that incentivizes people to stay because they offer a 0.1% fee, let's say, in a really bullish scenario, right? That's an unknown. But there's a ton of money that's going to be looking to sell once this product goes live, and then it will pick up. Like ultimately, long term, it will be a good thing for Ethereum, particularly if once we get some more regulatory clarity, we get some more friendly political environment, then BlackRock can be just like turn on the staking switch. Because I guarantee you, BlackRock's like, cool, we'll take out staking for now, and then like whispering to their engineers, like, make sure it's ready to go the moment this changes. Yeah,
absolutely.
They'll just turn on that switch. Yeah, but those
and
are
not just BlackRock, but Coinbase too. Do you know most? I forget the number. 9 out of 11, 8 out of 11, 10 out of 11, something significant of the Bitcoin ETF offerings are custodied through Coinbase.
Coinbase.
And I'm
Yep.
sure the same is going to happen. The biggest winner in this whole thing, if I had to pick like one individual actor, Coinbase. Coinbase, man. Coinbase.
I mean, they're being made kings. They're being made kings of the crypto space. They were able to fight their way to the top in the United States. And now that the political environment is changing in the US will be the number one place for crypto and blockchain, in my personal opinion. It's still Southeast Asia at the moment.
Yeah, but we have such a lead every way else on them. We're going to take anything. They do innovative stuff, and then when they do it first and break it and take some risks and fall down, once it's perfected, we're just going to snatch it and then broadcast it to the world. We're like that guy who goes to a, I don't know, we're like Michael Jackson at a concert watching some kids in, what is that?
We're like, oh, what a nice little jar of things you've made, other countries. Would it be a shame if we gave you your people's citizenship and way more money than you have? Thanks, guys. Anyway, colonialism's bad. Colonialism's bad. Remember, it's bad.
Like Alex pressing the button on his desk and just slowly fading out of view. Yeah.
Remember, guys, we're not an empire. We're not.
Tori says, "I love that for us." That's exactly right. That's exactly how it's going to go. And that's why I have such mixed feelings about Coinbase. I love what they're doing to bring the advocacy and stuff, but I
mean, it's
I welcome them with open arms. I go, come here, and your big bald head, Armstrong, come here, man.
Yeah, you just rub his head.
Yeah. It's so smooth.
Thank you, base god. Yeah.
Thank you, base god. Exactly. Well, Alex, I was thinking about buying some. I saw it was up like 36% one day, and I was like, "Fuck, I should have bought it."
I told you, man. That's the meme on base that has the most cool culture.
Yeah. Maybe I should take a little bit of, a little bit of money to gamble on and just toss it over there for the memes.
Alex, you had a really interesting idea we've talked about before that I absolutely think this paves the way for, which is basket funds, index type funds. Can you talk about it? And of course, what are your other thoughts?
Yeah, I just someone was asking about a Solana ETF, does this pave the way for that or this or that or whatever? And it's, probably not. I mean, I don't want to say no, because who knows what these idiots are going to do. But it doesn't make as much sense. And I am wary of like dedicated spot ETFs for utility coins, just because it defeats the purpose of the utility, makes the utility harder, and will overall hurt the network. And if all of the users and the developers leave and go somewhere that's not being snatched up by a bunch of institutions just trying to hold it, then who knows what that's going to do to the like longevity and usability of the network in the long term.
And security concerns for a proof of stake crypto also.
Definitely security concerns. Yeah, 100%. I mean, exactly. If it would not be hard, unlikely for maybe one ETF custodian to, breach the 51% threshold on something, unlikely for 15 of them to, throughout the 15 of them, to cross 50%. Much more likely at that point. So that's going to be curious. Although I will admit I've been worried about that for Bitcoin too. It's a lot harder, and I think Michael Saylor is specifically dedicated to getting to 51% first, so that he can be Bitcoin God.
I think he really is.
Yeah, I hope we never have a Bitcoin God.
It would really defeat the purpose.
Yeah, it certainly would. And that's, as soon as we start getting close to that, I just go, I'm going to sell all of this and walk away. I'm going to find the next asset class to go into.
Well, that's why I think honestly at that point, like, Bitcoin won't be released until we're all dead, mostly anyway. Technology will advance. We'll probably live longer than our parents and grandparents did if we want to, but 2048 is a long way away. And I think it's probable, or 2148 is a long way away. I think it's probable that in that time, I talk about abolishing the money system. Will, you're not as hip to this, but I really think the benefits of cryptocurrency and like the programmability of the medium of blockchain will introduce people to the possibilities for new types of like tools to make meaning about value that don't look like dollars and cents, but it's tokens. I really expect that we're gonna get the benefits of decentralization. We're gonna see Coinbase turn from a hero to a villain. We're gonna see Michael Saylor become Bitcoin God, and then people will be like, "Oh no, we understand how this crypto stuff works, and now we're gonna make it different." My personal hope is a better, different incentive system. Artificial intelligence will advance, and people are just going to say, "Oh, great! Now we can share all the food with the earth because of the robots and because of the crypto with everyone. No one is hungry anymore." I don't know. It may seem utopian, but I think it's imminently practical, absolutely possible, and it seems to me inevitable because everyone's fed up with the way things are. Everybody wants a better system. They just don't know that we have the tools to do it, and mostly the tools are so unfriendly to users that of course they don't. But that's my hope. Before Michael Saylor becomes Bitcoin God, we can, rug pull him by transitioning to just no one's going to need money in a world where everybody has more than enough, plus the freedom to fully experience life. That's what we're all after. Money is a bad proxy for that.
Yeah, that's one of the beautiful things about the decentralized space, right? Because anybody can get into it, right? Including a corporation like Coinbase that is seen as a hero and will inevitably, because they are a for-profit company, err towards the side that capitalism without guardrails leads towards. But at the same time, we have this decentralized open community that can include anybody, enable people to build anything, and get that to the market far easier and far cheaper than through the traditional system. And there will always be good people building good projects that provide value to benefit the world, right? That's one of the most beautiful things about the blockchain decentralized space, right? You'll always have your companies, and individual people err towards the side of greed, profit, and selfishness, but you'll always have. Ooh, you don't think so?
To say, that's another take you made the other day that I actually disagree with. I think that's a short-sighted perspective, by which I mean it's not necessarily wrong, but I think it's only right if you're looking at the last 300. Oh, hang on. Let me let these dogs out. Who let the dogs out? Go see what's happening. Oh, hang on. I have to take a break. My nephew is here, and he's got a birthday present for me. Remind me to tell you in a minute why I think that's a... Do you want to say hi? You don't have to.
You know who it is? It's Faceless Many.
I'll be back.
Okay. In the meantime, I'm here. In the meantime, I'll brainwash everybody towards my side immediately. Humanity will always lean towards the side of greed, but there are good people to balance it out. Throughout all of human time, people have always taken things, and they will always use tools to take more things. So you can be one of the good people to help balance that out, though.
I think you can
Come to the dark side. It's more fun.
Yes, you can say it nicely, and we can like package it all up and make it sound like a thing that could happen in 50 years. But I think it's more likely that something either majorly catastrophic has to happen first to act as the catalyst, or you would have to wait generations. Because I mean, any time when like there are two sides, regardless of who's right, and one of the sides has like all of the money and power, things have to either just take forever or get super bloody before something changes.
Yeah, so French Revolution, baby. Woo!
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I did have another thing I wanted to mention about the Solana ETF, though.
Yes.
So, big reason why Solana ETF won't happen is because the market cap is way too small. One of the things is you need a bigger market cap, guys, in order to get approval for it, because once you make an ETF, you open up the door for really, really big money. And if really big money flows into a small market cap, you just blow that market cap up like crazy. And there might not even be enough liquidity to really satisfy the needs of the market, which hence is why the price would explode. So no ETF product will be given to an altcoin that has a small market cap. And Solana, while it has a big market cap in the crypto space, is still a very tiny little baby market cap in the world of finance. So that won't happen. There is the potential to add like a basket of cryptocurrencies. I think that's also a bad idea, A, because the market caps are all really small, and B, most cryptocurrencies fade into either non-existence or irrelevance in 4 years, really 2 years time, right? Because the bull market lasts for 2 years, bear market happens, and then
Yeah.
most projects are toast, right? So like the odds of you investing into a basket, which is what an ETF is meant to be. It's meant to be a basket, not just one asset, right? The traditional use of an ETF, but a basket of altcoins, very, very high risk that it's going to have absolute total duds in it. So an XRP ETF, like XRP, Solana, Cardano, like none of them make sense right now to be an ETF product for all of those reasons.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, it would have to be niche specific, and you could probably, I mean, because people have done stuff like this before, not officially, not through like the ETF vehicle, but exchanges have offered like a token to represent a share in a pile of different tokens and stuff, like a gaming one or like a layer one or something like that. But, and you could dig and find out exactly what was inside of this portfolio. I haven't seen anything like that in a little while, but no, I just think it's a really far away. The speculation that I made about other ETFs like that is that people are going to start talking about them, people who don't either think it all the way through or just want to say it, and someone might apply. Not that it would go anywhere, but like somebody might, because think about the ease of a manipulation tactic for the market cap or the price of something.
Yeah, especially Solana. Yeah.
Exactly. If ARK Invest just buys a bunch of Solana and then they apply for an ETF for Solana, knowing that like it's never going to go anywhere, oh my God, it's going to double overnight and they're going to make a shitload of money, and then they could dump it. That's what I would be like hesitant about, and that's what I would probably speculate.
Yeah. That could very easily happen. Because even just the applications, then there are going to be people who are like, it's totally going to get passed also. And then it's going to be like the Bitcoin ETF that got kicked along for like multiple years. Because there's actually good reason to kick that one along. Like there's no CME futures trading that exists. That was so dumb. That was the most frustrating thing for years. Being like, Gary Gensler being like, well, we have to protect investors from the, volatile nature of cryptos. I'm like, you didn't already. You already didn't do that.
I mean, that just goes to your point about he's just a spineless, thoughtless man getting yanked around in a bunch of different directions and trying to figure out, okay, well, what am I supposed to do? Daddy? No, other daddy? And
yeah, exactly. As they're all just pulling his collar in different directions.
Exactly. Yeah, he's got 6 different leashes attached to him, and they're all being pulled at the same time.
Yeah. Gotta be tough.
But no, so in answer to where did it go? If Grayscale sells ETH, you think it could affect the whole market or only ETH-based products? It will affect more stuff just because Ethereum is still a king, and stuff.
And a lot of people, at least in my comment section, and honestly, I was at first. I kind of got swept up in the euphoria when this whole ETH ETF chance kind of did a 180 of like, oh, alt season's gonna go, and then so you have a lot of positive sentiment towards that right now. And then once Grayscale starts selling and the ETH price doesn't do what people think it's going to do day one, sentiment for altcoins is going to change, and I think you'll see a lot of people like panic, and you're going to see some longs get liquidated and all that kind of stuff. But that'll be short term. That'll be short term chop, But yeah.
Your timeline is important. Your crypto thing that they invested in Ethereum yesterday. Just if your timeline is years, then I'm sure you're fine. But if what you expect is right now, or if seeing a 20% correction would be horrifying to you, then you might have stepped in it there, just because it's up 30% on the week, which is a lot.
Wait, guys, I just went on the BBC, and this isn't crypto related, but I think everyone can be pretty pumped about this. U.S. is suing Ticketmaster. The United States government is suing Ticketmaster owner Live Nation, and I so hope that their prime example for this is just like the Taylor Swift tickets.
Oh, it absolutely will be.
Yeah, I would just love to be like see like Taylor Swift mentioned on like legal documents in like a federal court case.
I actually think that's one of those problems NFTs can fix.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
so thrilled
no,
and
for
excited
sure,
about it.
100%, 100%. Yeah,
Dude, fuck Ticketmaster. I'm like,
yeah, they suck, dude.
they all suck. When I went to Disturbed, I knew that it was bad, but I haven't bought tickets in a long time, and I did think it was funny when the Biden administration tried to do something. I can't remember exactly what it was because I didn't pay attention, but made some vague proposal about doing something to the fee structure of services like that, and everyone was like, wow, focus on a problem that matters. And I'm like, no, just let them, just please
No.
let them kneecap these companies really quick, because like,
Let
can we
them
all
go.
agree that this is terrible? But it's just like Ticketmaster has this huge headline, like Disturb, tickets for whatever price, and then you check out and you're like, wait a second, why is it 3 times higher? And that's just the way that it works for everything. Fuck Ticketmaster, like unequivocally.
Yeah, go U.S. government, get them. You're always
Yeah,
our friend.
seriously. Get them.
I interrupt this quick topic to bring you an important question from our audience. Who Gabby says we're handsome, which is good news, bullish. But the
Bullish.
specific question is skincare. What do you do? Me, it's just I drink a lot of water and eat a good diet most of the time. Alex, I know has a fancy routine, and I'd be willing to bet Will's got some secrets too. So spill it. This show
wait
is
a
not
second.
sponsored by any skincare products, but it could be.
Wait a second. By fancy routine, what that means is that I wash my face sometimes. And the fancy routine is whatever Christina has available to me, I'll take a little pump of that. Like, oh yeah, I'm sure this is good. Whatever this is.
Yes, my whole body gets this now. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
you're
that
using like
$80
$80 worth of product.
Wash, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and that there's one of those little bottles in the shower, and when I'm in there, I'll use that. But like, gun to my head, I could not tell you what it is. I have no idea what it is.
Will, spill it. What are you doing for your beauty?
All right, so full credit to my skin goes to my girlfriend, who has brought me from a long way of bar soap and a dirty,
Nothing like
little
bar soap.
hand towel in the shower, right? So the morning routine is I use Origin Tree's 40 SPF moisturizer cream. Use that in the morning, right? Got to protect your skin from the sun, out of those wrinkles. I'm a crypto guy, but now I'm a skincare guy. All right, so you got that. And then at night, I use Le Roche-Posay foaming cleansing soap to cleanse my skin and get the oils out, right? Then I wash, and while I have just like a little bit of moisture on, one night I'll just take a little bit of Kiehl's moisturizer, right? That might be it. I might just go to bed. Or what I'll do is I'll use like a little bit of retinol 2 times a week, and then moisturize with the Kiehl's, right? To de-wrinkle myself, which does actually fucking work. It's great. Retinol is fucking magic. And then another thing I'll do once a week is I'll use a BCAA, which is a chemical exfoliant. Paula's Choice is the best one. It shrinks your pores, and it's fucking magic, dude. That shit even more so than the retinol. You put that on, the very next morning, you will look 1 year younger. I'm not shitting you. I put it on because all this other stuff my girlfriend had me do, I was like, okay, like whatever, this is fine. And I put on the Paula's Choice, who could sponsor me, pay me money. I will talk you up, Paula's Choice. Put that on, you'll wake up the next morning and I looked at her and I looked at my girlfriend and I was like, holy shit. And she's like, I was fucking telling you. And I was like, I love you so much. I was like, I'm beautiful. And that shit works. And then retinol, it really has like reduced the wrinkles in my forehead. Collagen's also important, but I don't take it, which I should. But that is my skincare routine.
For anyone who has never seen this before and tuned in the last 1 minute for the first time ever,
we talk about crypto.
welcome to the official Sephora live stream.
Retinol is just
Get ready
blood
with
and
me.
elves. Yes, so I am 31 years old. I smoke cigars. I drink, right? I eat fairly well, but I mean, like, Some
Butters have
wrinkles,
that skin,
right?
though.
But like, some wrinkles, but they were way deeper before. I wish I had a picture to show you. I had crow's eyes, gone. They were starting to form. Gone.
The answer
Retinol,
to the immediate
sunscreen
question,
moisturizer, Paula's Choice BCAA.
someone asks, Will, my God, you're so handsome. What do you do? And Will just is, are you familiar with Elizabeth Bathory?
No, I'm not.
Oh, infamous villain from the 1400s that bathed in the blood of babies. Just Google Elizabeth
But
Bathory.
did it work? Did it work?
Well, here, I'll Will's skincare routine.
Honestly, I was not expecting to come away from that like bullish on Paula's Choice, but I actually wrote it down. That was a fantastic sell, and the comments went wild. Everyone apparently is like secret beauty skincare maxis. Who knew?
we all want to look young and feel pretty and be beautiful. So it unites all people.
I mean, honestly, as we look for sponsors for the show, I'm starting to think that skincare may or may not be a viable option. Like, seriously, I'm thinking about it now. Like, if we can get some of that retinol sponsorship, some of that Paula's Choice sponsorship.
Dude, so for the record, for some reason, I don't know what it is. It's just like it's the mindset of like a routine, something that like just for some reason, whether it's legit or not, makes you feel better. Just like improves your, it's the phenomenon of like, eating a healthy parfait in the morning as opposed to Cinnamon Toast Crunch and just making better decisions all day long. For me, that's specifically not sponsored, but it should be Dr. Squatch bar soap. I just love the pine tar one. Smells
I do
so
love
good.
pine.
It's so good.
I put some rose oil on my body this morning that Kimberly got. I would pimp that project. If it has a token, I'm shilling it. It smells like actual concentrated flowers, and I'm pretty sure that's what it's made from. It's got like 3 ingredients, so it's good. I don't know. We could become the crypto beauty. How did I miss it? It could be, and I don't use any product. I would be like that influencer who occasionally smokes and eats Oreos and stuff, but is like, here's my skincare routine. And the surprise is the skincare routine is a paycheck. But I would take that
just a paycheck, just rubbing money on your face. I mean, it worked for Magic. It worked for Magic, It worked for Magic.
It definitely worked for Magic.
HIV,
okay, so let me just tell you one more time, in case you missed it. This is the birthday edition of the Rise Up Morning Show. We're talking skincare and flowers, but also crypto. So if you've got crypto questions, this is the place for them. Somebody wanted to know about Noble Blocks, and while we look it up or think to give a comment on it, I was hoping to sell you for the low price of free on the Rise Up Morning Show newsletter. We're here 4 times a week, Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. But you don't have time to tune into a live show every single day. Maybe you do, and we love you for it. But if you don't, sign up to the newsletter, tap my face, tap their faces, and you can get all the links, tips, tricks, the most important bullet points from this show delivered to your inbox 1 time a week. Super valuable. We hate newsletters, so we made this one good. And the Rise Up Discord. Free to join, hang out with us. No character limits on your comments. Ask us a question. You might just get one of these, skincare optimized faces giving you our thoughts on this or that cryptocurrency, this or that project, this or that fundamental lesson that you need to know to navigate this space.
Look at this motherfucker right now. Just bam, 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 bam.
I know, right? The subscriptions have been through the roof. And if you really are a skincare brand and you're tuning into the stream for the first time, talk to us, because this show is not sponsored by you yet, but it could be. So find it all at theriseupmorningshow.com. I want to hear what you guys think. If you have any thoughts on Noble Blocks, it's a DeSci play we've looked at before. I don't even know if the gentleman who asked it is still here. I am generally, my thing is, I'm waiting to see if the juice is worth the squeeze on every single token that puts a narrative on its homepage. AI plus crypto, DeSci plus crypto, whatever it is. I need to see that you're doing something and that your token incentives are aligned with the incentive goal you have to bring a product to market. That's my TLDR. And I don't know that Noble Blocks has done it yet. I like their docs. I like their website. I like, the marketing is good. Might make you money in the short term. I'm just not convinced that the juice is worth the squeeze, and this is going to be the product that changes science forever.
Yeah, I'm pulling up their website now because I've looked into it, and it looks like their website is down at the moment due to an internal server error. So me having my computer is not
How
usable.
interesting. I'm on docs.nobleblocks.com. I pulled it up a while ago, so maybe,
Yeah,
maybe it was my
I just
fault.
pulled up their white paper. Because I remember Noble Blocks being really hot in 2023. I remember Josh Jake talking about it. And,
Well, and it's specifically the one that's going to compensate. It's going to solve the problem of bias in research, so it claims. And the solution is an ecosystem powered by a token that will pay researchers. You can buy this token and use it to pay researchers for work. And my thing is, as a researcher, I don't want to be paid in your volatile token that speculators are going nuts around. I want to be paid in a stable currency. I want to know that $50 today is going to be worth $50 tomorrow. I also, if I want to vote on something, am not going to want to spend my token that's going up, 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 up. And speculators are not going to want to speculate on a token that people are using in a way that makes it stable. So it's like competing incentives. Bad design. Go ahead, Alex.
I don't know why I've never connected, because I agree with what Daniel is saying. You know, that like in the sense of a narrative that should legitimately make people money, DeSci makes no sense. Completely agree. However, what if the way that we trick everyone into crowdfunding legitimately helpful research is by letting them play in the kiddie pool with a bunch of shit coins, while the institution doing the research is just like profiting off of everyone's degeneracy and then using it to further legitimate research? That actually is probably a pretty good strategy.
Man. Honestly, it is. And that's what I was saying before I get interrupted. In a world where capital is the biggest and only incentive, absolutely that makes sense. But most of our history, it has not been the only or biggest incentive. That's just a very last 1,000 years, short-term kind of thing. But it's so complete and so thorough and so consuming all around us. It's almost impossible to see one that it wasn't always this way. And this is not necessarily even the best way it could be, but it is so absolutely. If you want to fund something, if you want to do something, put some money on it, get people to think they can make money on it, and you will get attention. Totally. Every time.
Yeah, I'm also taking a look at the tokenomics of Noble
so
Block.
I don't know anything about the supply, except I have seen from a high level that that's what they hope to do with the token is governance and also funding of research, and also come speculate on this. So what are you seeing?
I only see speculation being the only driver for this coin, because just like you said, I don't really see people doing this. And also, like, the medical field is such a highly regulatory and also academic world that they're only going to go through their channels. If you want to find the tokenomics, go to CoinMarketCap and just go to their white paper, and then the tokenomics section, total token supply. Yeah. And only 12% of the supply is circulating, so there should be inflationary pressures. And we can see, and they have this is interesting, because private sale investors have 35 million Noble.
And they got it at this price.
Yes, but here's one thing. So it says 35 million Noble, sold at 0.002 cents, has a 6-month vesting period and a 1-month cliff, so it's out there. Immediate release at launch, and it says 5 to 20%. The thing is like 5%. Let's see, it's 5% of 1 billion, 35 million. Let me do 1 times 0.05. What did they say? Wait, no, they said 5%. Yeah.
5 to 20. Yeah.
No, that's interesting. I don't know where they're getting that number from. So I'm confused by their tokenomics, because it says it's 5 to 20%, but 35 million Noble for private sale investors is obviously a very small number. So how does it range from 5 to 20%? And then for strategic investors, they said they gave another 35 million Noble to those strategic investors. But again, it says that's 5 to 20% of the total supply. And then for pre-sale, they gave 200 million Noble. which
And John
is
Reynolds
about
says, here's a note, their pre-sale sold out in 3 minutes. Not surprised.
yeah,
When
crazy.
this is what you're putting on your website, that you can buy it for this, and we're going to launch it on Uniswap at this, of course everybody paying attention is going to buy it, because as soon as it hits this, they're going to sell. I'm curious, Will, if for this date, if you're looking at it on like a charting website, if you can tell me around the end of March, if one, it went public and what the price target was, and if there was a big red candle. Because this is exactly what we're talking about. Like, the incentive here is so misaligned. If your goal is to fund scientific research and use this token to do it, you've set up a bad incentive where everybody who gets in early is incentivized to sell their token as soon as it goes public, creating a super volatile product.
What was the date on that it was released?
March 30th. I don't know if this is their target. They haven't updated this, but it says March 30th, 2024 at 3 p.m. UTC.
Well, these dates are interesting. So the earliest date I can get a chart on is April 16th. It was at basically 4 cents. It then got to a high on April 18th at basically 6.5 cents, and then crashed hard to 0.001 cent. So a huge flash crash. It recovered, and then 1 month after the release, it was at 1.3 cents. So that is a fall from 4 cents to, with some volatility, basically down.
And you're saying 4 cents,
75%.
not 0.004 of a cent, right?
Yeah, I'm saying 4 cents. So it went from 4 cents down to 1.2 cent 1 month after launch. So it fell 75%.
Okay, but honestly, if you got in this pre-sale, you're still doing well, because you got it for
you're still doing great if you got into the pre-sale. But the chart right now looks terrible. But then again, this is April through May, so the crypto market was down.
Yeah, and I'm looking at what's the total supply, Will?
Total supply in circulation, or total supply is what, 1 billion? Let me verify. Total supply is 1 billion, and 120 million is apparently circulating. But that's self-reported. Yeah,
so more than 10% of the supply is going to project development and the core team, so that's not in circulation. 5% of the supply went to reviewers, editors, authors, 3% to advisors, which is fine. Partnerships, 4%. Marketing, 15%. Grants, 10%. I do like that. That's the number I like most. The public sale gets 30%, which is pretty standard for our industry, but frankly, I think is scalomorphic. And I think it's unimaginative. And again, if your goal is to use this token to create stable, sustainable funding for scientists for years to come, all you've done is create a Ponzi. The vesting schedule for the team is 12 months. Advisors is 24 months. And I don't know from when, if that's from public launch or not, but that's no time at all.
So here's something else to keep in mind too. 53.5%, I got this by going on Etherscan. 53.5% of the total supply is held by Hedgy Finance. Hedgy Finance also got hacked not too long ago, fun fact. But what Hedgy Finance does is they provide a service for cryptocurrency projects to basically hold the supply and offer it out investing. So, each month goes by, they give a certain percentage of the coins to the private sale investors and all that kind of stuff. That's 53% of the total supply is still being vested out to people who are in a ton of profit and highly incentivized to sell on you. Outside of that 50%, there are 1, 2, 3 wallets that have about 25% more of the supply in 3 wallets. So this is a highly centralized cryptocurrency that is far more likely to just sell and sell and sell and suppress price and profit off of people, or, to be used as their payment coin. Maybe they want to have the supply to sell on people so that it is a stable currency so that researchers will take it.
XRP much? I think the other thing too to think about is there is once the vesting schedule is done and the team is incentivized to sell, what's keeping them there? What's keeping them from saying we launched this great project, adding it to their bio on LinkedIn, and then pivoting to become VCs with all the money that you paid them, or launching a new project? Like it's a different kind of Ponzi. I don't know.
It's
Daniel, welcome to the panel, man.
The idea like, oh shit, that was awesome. Let's do it again.
I have thoughts on this.
Yeah.
I agree with William with all of your analysis. It was great.
Thanks, Daniel. Nice to meet you, by the way.
Oh, have you guys not met?
No, we haven't met. I like your owl.
Okay, I want to take it a little further. So this is a brand new startup, right? And they need to raise capital. Their advisors, all of those advisors are marketing advisors. All of their moves currently are.
Hey, Daniel, you're like kind of fuzzy. You're kind of far away. Can you move the phone a little closer and start again? I'm sorry, brother.
Are you in a wind tunnel? Falling off a cliff?
Skydiving?
Alex, did you do something to beautify yourself?
I took my hat off.
Or did Alex get like handsome Squidward? I'm sorry, Daniel. I didn't mean to rug you, but damn, man. All he did was take the hat off and lean in a little bit.
It's the librarian phenomenon where she takes off her glasses and lets her hair down.
Nice.
You're kind of beautiful, you know? Yeah, okay. Sorry, Daniel. We rugged you. Go ahead. Give us a test and let us know how you're sounding.
It's worse.
No, it's worse.
Objectively worse.
What you didn't know, Alex was good looking. Takes these tattoos. Yeah.
In fact, hang on. Let me see if I can find this. While we're waiting for Daniel, if you don't know Daniel, he's our friend, our dedicated troll, a crypto dev with experience in cloud, specifically pre-crypto, but generally speaking, is sort of a philosopher, skeptic, and I never know if Daniel is going to come in and tell me like the next token that's going to pump to 200x, or he's just going to say, guys, crypto is a total Ponzi. And probably he'll do both.
Both can be true.
Both can be true.
Okay.
I'm trying to find this picture because while we're waiting for him.
Is it better now?
Much
Much better. Go ahead, brother.
Oh, right. So I wanted to add it to the Noble Blocks thing, right?
Yes.
The situation with Noble Blocks and why it's such a terrible investment is because all of the influencers that are currently pumping it, and there's a lot of influencers currently pumping it, got in earlier than absolutely everyone. That's what the advisors are, right? And that's the situation with 99% of these early launches. Why? Because they need to raise their coffers and they don't want their shitty token, right? Because their shitty token is worthless. They want Ethereum, they want Solana, they want the expensive token inside of their treasury. So basically, when you're buying into these tokens, quote unquote, early, you're just giving them money for their treasury because they're just going to dump on you, and that's that inflation. It's so that's why you shouldn't buy these things. You have to either buy real technology that's currently being used, like Solana, that goes up, or you got to get in early, get in on those early conversations, buy in, and just dump it. But you don't want to support the team as it does development. That's a terrible idea.
Well said.
Yeah.
And quickly.
Yeah.
That's kind of been my opinion on like ICP too, for since it kind of came out. Like, and it's the exact same thing. I had some other concerns about ICP around centralization too, but that fear has kind of gone away. But still very concerned. Like ICP, I know a lot of people are super pumped about it, and I'm just like, but the team's like selling on you guys to fund their project because they don't care about the price of ICP. They care about their project. And that's great, fine, and dandy. But a lot of people are looking at it as like an investment that's going to go to $1 million. And I'm like, it doesn't seem like it's going to do that.
And it's not. It's not. You're right. And it's the exact same thing. They are dumping on you to do development, and they have failed to find a market. It's like you're basically funding them until they find a market fit, if they will ever find a market fit. By the way, disclosure: I used to work at ICP.
Gasp.
Yeah, I know, right? When you said that, I was like,
Yeah.
I was like,
So you've been rubbing shoulders with those folks at Davos, eh?
I've met them all, man.
Oh, that would be fascinating. Oh, it'd be like meeting aliens.
Yeah, no, they're all monsters.
This exact phenomenon is a conversation that Mac and I have been having on and off for years, which is like, is it possible to run a project or a company that uses a token for its primary utility and then use it effectively without just exclusively hurting your investors all the time? And we have never answered the question anything other than, nope, sure can't.
No.
You got to hurt your investors.
It's a DeFi protocol. How do you feel about a DeFi protocol? I feel like the most valuable, aside from like ETH and Bitcoin, are DeFi protocols, like platform tokens.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about DeFi. I'm talking about like any narrative. Gaming, AI, RWA, whatever.
We're using a token to decentralize science. Somebody sent me Peak Network the other day. It was Rick, our friend Rick in the audience. Peak, PEAQ, have you heard about it? They got a great website, super marketing, phenomenal white paper. But the question is the same one as with Noble Blocks. Like, why does this need to be a token? And if it does, why does it need to be your token? You know? Like, because you want to make some money.
That's why Base is cool, honestly.
Base has a token. It's called the Coinbase stock, right?
That's exactly what we do.
It's called Coin.
Exactly, but that's a good thing because they have fiduciary duty, and that's actually a security. And the reason when people say like it's bullish that crypto is not a security, it's not bullish. That means that they have absolutely no responsibility to make sure that you make money. And that sucks.
Agreed. Yeah. I think it's still a problem of crypto as money. I think as we expand it, and there are many non-securities use cases of crypto, probably in the semi-distant, not too distant, whatever future. I don't know. That's when people are going to be like, "Wow, this crypto stuff is really great." If we ever get there.
And for me, on that standpoint, with like securities, so there are so many securities out there that are just like awful because they represent like a terrible shell company or something. I think Enron, right? Things like that. It always just kind of falls to the individual to make sure that what you're investing in is something that can hopefully make you money. All of our mistakes and successes ultimately are our own, but with exceptions.
Real quick, can I invite you guys to speculate a little? Daniel, since you're here, I'd love your opinions on this too. We had a question about two protocols specifically, but DeFi generally. Somebody who wanted to know about staking, about providing liquidity, and the examples they brought us were Pendle Finance, which is one of the leading platforms on Ethereum right now, and a couple of other spots, Arbitrum, etc. And they asked us about Folks Finance, which looks like it's a big player in the Algorand ecosystem for lending specifically. But like generally, they're not scams. Pendle's not a scam. Arrow is not a scam. Folks Finance is not a scam. There are many, many, many DeFi protocols that are scams. And the number one tool I'd recommend if you want to play along at home would be DeFiLlama.com. But as maybe we pull it up, as we can talk about DeFi, I would love to just go around and hear some of your thoughts about, for somebody who's new, who's really fascinated learning about this concept of staking or providing liquidity, DeFi generally. Do you have tips, tricks, suggestions, good jokes, words of wisdom? And Daniel, since you're our honored guest, I'll kick it to you first, man.
Yeah, man. So providing liquidity can be extremely profitable if done right. However, if you're just providing liquidity to those small DeFi platforms that are new or just getting started, do it for fun. You're not going to make money. The way you make money by providing liquidity is by looking for hype coins and providing $100,000 worth of liquidity to it, and then making money off of the volume and then rugging it. That's how you make money after moving quickly and then moving quickly.
Early and quickly.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Most people listening, disclaimer, that is probably not you. Just get excited about it someday. You'll probably lose money on the way there. Sorry, go ahead.
Right. Yes. You will lose money due to lots of reasons. Permanence is one of them. But if you do it right, you can make like 20% of your investment safely because you just pull it back out if you do it right. But I think everyone should do it. If you all want to get into DeFi can be extremely profitable. Yield farming can be extremely profitable. You all should look at it and learn from it. And then once you know how it works, go yield farm some degen farms that give you a 1,000,000% APY. That's the way.
Okay,
I
so
would
what's
say
the pipeline then?
before you touch those apps, though, go use a safe DeFi tool that's been around for a while. Learn how to use it first, and then go play around with some other things. But learn how to do it all first on a safe platform that's not going to get hacked or has a bug in the code, right? Learn there, and then go explore more things. Do that first. Then do what Daniel said.
Don't cut your teeth on the true
Yeah.
degen.
Yeah.
What do you got, Alex?
For what specifically?
Well, let me prompt you, and then I want you to run with it. If you haven't yet gotten a wallet, you never had a crypto wallet, you're watching this, or you're new, you've never sold crypto and turned it back into cash. If you've never bridged crypto, if like buying, selling, bridging, transferring are still kind of new for you, you get a little tight whenever you think about that, or you don't know how to do those things. This is a level 3 play, and those are levels 1 and 2. And then I would say it might be good to spend some time on Coinbase Learn, or even on Coinbase, to stake something there, to understand what's a lockup period. Is there a selfie? Is there a hold, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, before you start to plug your wallet into, this is the equivalent of like when you're 16 and you have a high school sweetheart, lover, and you go to the football field together, and after a year and at prom night, you make out together and you consummate the love kind of thing. That's getting a wallet. That's learning Coinbase. And then when you're in Amsterdam and it's been a weekend and the red light district is all around you and the lights are flashing and you're pretty sure there's a cat on your shoulder, but he's not real, and you walk into the arms of a waiting stranger, and that is a DeFi protocol. So Alex, I kick it to you to say, like, do you have steps or recommendations that someone hearing this who wants to get into it, or somebody who's like ready to get into it, could take to start exploring it? I had mentioned DeFi Llama, for example, but I know you got other stuff.
Well, before you drop acid and walk into the wanting arms of a stranger, I think that you should peruse coinbase.com/learn. Not sponsored, but it should be. And if I find them at Consensus, you can bet your ass I'm making the pitch. But I just love how they organize. It's like it's Duolingo. Why Duolingo is great is the UI. It's second to none. And Coinbase has basically created like that, but for starting with crypto. It's basic, but honestly, even to this day, like if I need a quick reference for something, or I'm trying to like put together an explanation, or I'm like writing a lesson for a video or something, like I'll use it because their phrasing is just great. That's just the best place to start, in my humble opinion.
Totally.
Yeah, I would agree. Coinbase is the best place to start, particularly if that's like the exchange you're on too, and you already like connected your bank account to bring cash to the exchange, because now there's like the quick pay option or quick load option, so you can get the Coinbase wallet and just take money and just put it on your wallet, as opposed to taking it from your bank account, putting it onto the exchange, sending it on a wallet, doing those steps. The Coinbase wallet now like circumvents that step. So it's just like one other way of making it easier to then explore and do your swaps. And it's all on Base now, so it's all cheap and all that stuff. So like Coinbase is just like such a good place to start. And then once you kind of have your money on chain, maybe you're like, oh, okay, like maybe I want to go and like play on Avalanche and head over to Trader Joe and get some Avalanche tokens. Or like, hey, I'll send this over to my Phantom wallet now on Solana, and I feel a little bit more comfortable going on Jupiter, or going and using Camino Finance, and like all these other things, right? So
okay,
like,
hang on, Will. You're dropping a lot of names, and I'm thinking about the beginners. Generally speaking, it sounds like what you're saying is maybe they could use a website like DeFi Llama or like Coinbase to learn about one particular blockchain. Every network has DeFi opportunities, which is what you're talking about, right? Like maybe pick one with a reputable name, maybe something they find on DeFi Llama, and start to learn the basics. Am I understanding that right?
yeah, basically I kind of look at, to give an analogy, but far less salacious and exciting, is it's like you're about to get into a pool, and the pool represents DeFi, and like the first step in those steps of a pool is Coinbase. with their Coinbase. They make it easy for you to get in, feel comfortable. You're in the water, but you didn't have to do much effort to get into it because they make a lot of steps easy, and their smart wallet will make it even easier, right? And then once you get familiar with like, oh, okay, I can do like swaps in my wallet. Oh, that's cool. I can swap my Ethereum or USDC into another crypto. Cool. Oh, I'm doing DeFi. That's great. And like, oh, I can get some APY, I can lend it. You start exploring in the wallet. That makes it easy. And then once you're familiar with that, go to like a DeFi llama, like you said, and go, okay, what are some of the other big environments, big blockchains for DeFi? Solana, the biggest one outside of Ethereum. Oh, okay, like let me scroll down. What are some of the big DeFi apps? Oh, okay, cool. Here's one that's an exchange. Here's one that's a lending protocol where I can lend my crypto and earn profit off of it, that kind of stuff. And then, okay, cool. Maybe now I'm ready to take that next step into the pool, get a little bit deeper in the water, and start playing around and having to learn, some of the more traditional on-chain skill sets that you need, right? But Coinbase is such a good place to start. And then DeFi Llama, the best tool to help you navigate where to go next, if you want to.
We had a simple question that I'd love to answer quickly, which is, if I buy crypto on Coinbase, is it automatically on the Base network? The answer is no.
No.
Coinbase, like many platforms, gives you the opportunity to buy cryptocurrencies on several different networks. And mostly, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, they give you a choice where you want to buy it, but a lot of stuff on Coinbase, I think, defaults to Ethereum. Unless it's native to one or the other networks. The way to think about this is like, if you want to send somebody a file in an email, you might send them a picture, and that picture could be a JPEG, it could be a PNG, it could even be a PDF. You could save a picture as a document, and you'd open Microsoft Word and your picture would be on the page. Cryptocurrency networks are different formats. A token can live on many different networks. You can have USDT, the Tether token, on the Ethereum network, on the Binance network, as a JPEG, as a PNG. Is that right, though? Am I speaking out of turn? I feel like mostly we default on a lot of places to one network or the other, and on Coinbase, I feel like it's Ethereum. Am I wrong? Coinbase has such a wide variety of assets, though, that it's like...
Well, like, I can't really confirm, but like...
it might not be a helpful thing for me to say.
You couldn't keep your Solana on the Ethereum blockchain because then it would be lost forever, right? So they have to have wallets, or several wallets that they store the crypto in, that they then have custodial control, so that as you want to move your crypto, it can pop on out and go off to where you're sending it. So
he's right though. Most of Coinbase is built on the Ethereum blockchain. So
okay.
And if you want to bridge your assets to something like Base, you could use the Base bridge. I think we can get a link for you.
Yeah. So Daniel, question. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
No, go ahead. That's all I wanted to say. They asked a follow up about the bridge.
Mm-hmm. So if most of Coinbase is built on Ethereum, then they have to store their Solana and their Avalanche and yada 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 yada, all these other coins. I'm assuming do they do something different from just having like several wallets on those blockchains that they store via like hardware wallet, however they store it, just kind of like, or is it somehow sitting on Ethereum?
I'm not sure what your question is.
They have one big ass wallet, and when they pretty much keep track of your balance separately. When you're trading on Coinbase, you're usually not trading on the blockchain. Then when you withdraw, and you go to a DEX, that's when you're actually on the blockchain. So that when they do trades, when you do a swap between Avalanche or Ethereum, you're not actually doing anything. They're just charging you fees and making the swap. But that's generally how it works.
Okay, so they're just then doing the swap. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, they keep all that. Some people have that as a lot of these DeFi protocols. Somebody asked about Arrow. Arrow is in the business, like Coinbase, of selling you a token called Arrow token, or in the case of Coinbase stock or Bitcoin or Ether. They hold it all. But in the case of something like Arrow or Pendle or Folks Finance or whatever, any of these very specific, Trader Joe, they might have a platform token, a Joe token, a Pendle token, or whatever. I actually don't know what the tokens are on those platforms. Arrow token, where when you buy that token, we were talking earlier about how like for Noble Blocks or for Peak, it's like, why does it have to be a token? And why does it have to be their token? It doesn't make sense. The token incentives are misaligned with their use. But in DeFi, I think is one of the places where token incentives are actually very aligned with the use. Arrow sells you a token so that you can give them the money to do their job. They need to have Bitcoin and Ether and Solana, all this stuff on hand so that when you come to them with Bitcoin and say, hey, I'd like Sol, they can use the Arrow token to buy, pockets of all that stuff, and like a teller at a counter, just, switch it out for you, like a currency exchange would. That is their business. They take a small cut. Sometimes they're doing other things with the money, lending it, whatever. And so one of the like elementary level plays, if you want to start learning about DeFi on a platform like Jupiter or on a platform like Trader Joe or on a platform, you name it, Arrow, is to buy a little of their platform token, especially like Daniel said, if you're early. Every blockchain ecosystem where decentralized finance is a service is going to need to have lending protocols, DEXs, where people can do swaps and exchanges, and they're all going to need to have a token for the most part. So that can be a good, low risk, learn how to get in and out in one trade kind of investment that will help you start to watch and pay attention to and learn about DeFi. I always recommend that to people.
Yes, guys. Oh, we all brought our buddies on. So I'm gonna head off. And spend the birthday with my mom.
Yeah.
Gonna do a little bit of garden work, help her with some flowers. Gotta get it in now that there's nice weather. So I'm gonna hop off. I don't know if there's any final question or anything.
No, you get the liberty of the final thought, good joke, word, or wisdom, whatever you want to say.
Become a premium member. Give us money. No. Final words of wisdom. Be careful buying in to this very large green candle on Ethereum. Typically you want to buy when things are red. And green candles get the optimism. Optimism makes you want to buy. You feel like you're left out. You buy a top. Things sell. You're underwater. So put your emotions in check. Step away from the computer, your phone. Think about your decisions before you put your hard-earned money at risk. Make sure you're doing the right thing for yourself, guys. Other than that, hop into the Discord, guys. We're there. Join us there. It's a great time. Trying to give a lot of value there. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Thanks, Will. Happy birthday to your mother, and we'll see you soon, brother.
Yeah, of course. Enjoy the birthday day yourself.
I will.
All right, see you guys.
Alex, what do you think? We'll give it a couple more minutes. We'll wind things down, and then we'll give our last thoughts, good jokes, words of wisdom, and ride our ponies off into the sunset. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Joe, real quick, because I think there was a slight disconnect here. The suggestion is not to use DeFi on a centralized exchange. Obviously, it's in the name. You are not doing DeFi using a centralized exchange to stake something. The idea with that suggestion is to get used to the idea of doing something other than just owning it with a token. So if you have a staking option on a centralized exchange with Kraken, Coinbase, whatever, you can get used to the process of locking something, having to wait to unlock it potentially, earning interest for holding something, all that sort of stuff. Okay. No one is suggesting that using a centralized exchange is letting you participate in decentralized finance. But you get a vague idea of the process. There's not really any advantage to doing it that way, except that it's safer and it kind of like lets you. I'm trying to think of an analogy, and I love using car analogies.
I'd say it's like training wheels.
Yes, exactly. You're putting training wheels on.
A bicycle on a road in the street, but you're using training wheels.
You're sitting on your dad's lap while he has his feet on the pedals, and you get to touch the steering wheel. You're not really doing anything, but like you get to believe that you did for a second, and it kind of warms you up to the idea of then Because then, I mean, think about all the things you have to do as a first-time user or holder of a cryptocurrency if you want to do DeFi. You have to make a hot wallet. You have to take custody of your assets away from the centralized exchange and give them to yourself, and you open yourself up to a whole slew of new risks that I honestly don't recommend people take on day one. It's just not worth it. So, you know, that's the day one. The day one start versus then where do you go? Has nothing to do with, you know, not trying to tell someone that they're doing DeFi and getting governance rights and voting on platforms and protocols by staking on Coinbase.
Yeah, and the thing about that is the upside versus the downside. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to miss out on life-changing wealth because you didn't stake on one decentralized exchange one time 6 months ago. Like, it's just not as realistic as it is that you are likely, if you invest too much and you invest too soon and you don't know how to move it and you start playing with leverage, that you will lose a significant amount of money or be scared off or whatever. I mean, we hear from people all the time who have acted too quickly without proper knowledge, without good guardrails. You know, you're swimming in the deep end without a life jacket. And sure, you might have a community hanging out with you. That's great. Somebody can jump in and save you. But often, I mean, tell me if this is your experience, Alex, people message me when it's too late, you know?
Yeah. Yes. Always. Almost always.
And that's avoidable. So we just want you to avoid it. We love Coinbase Wallet. Somebody asked about in terms of like a good, safe training wheels experience. I have mixed thoughts about Coinbase. One day we might remember them as a villain kind of thing because of how much power they're accumulating. But right now, they're probably doing more than anybody to answer the questions people have, make crypto legitimate, tell a better story. And I would say the Smart Wallet, which Will mentioned, which is in beta now, their goal is to make using a wallet like using an email address, something that pretty much everybody online knows how to do, and which will accelerate the ability for everyday people like us to start feeling the benefits of crypto without, like, you know, sign into your MetaMask, don't click this, here's a scam, do you want to whatever, this is a signature, all this scary stuff. And that's only going to get better over time, you know. And Alex, can I ask you a quick question about this? Before I plug the Discord, which is in our bios and at the riseupmorningshow.com, John Reynolds, check it out. What do you think about, somebody asked, is Ledger safe to use? And they were specifically asking about the seed storage. We've talked about this before, and I feel like you might be able to sum it up more concisely than me, why we both feel it's not a cause for concern for anybody who would want to use a Ledger device. Which also, I should say, this show is, I use a Ledger. The show is not sponsored by Ledger. I wish it was. It could be. Call us.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of the best way. So, I mean, honestly, when they first launched Ledger Recover, the backlash was swift and aggressive. And I think that they learned the error of their ways. So they made a step to try to become more user-friendly because there's a barrier to entry using a cold wallet, regardless of how good the interface is. Ledger has a pretty good onboarding and interface, but it's still remembering that you have to keep your seed phrase safe and transferring stuff over there and like not losing it and all that sort of stuff. They have since walked back quite a bit of it. It's an opt-in service. If you don't opt in, you don't opt in. I can put a link to someone who has a much better understanding of exactly why it's not that big of a deal into the Discord. Let me just leave a note to myself to dig that report up. But yeah, I mean, the long story short is that there's been a lot of misinformation around it.
Misinformation that was exacerbated, like you said, by the way they chose to talk about it.
They didn't do themselves
any PR crisis than an actual problem with the way they custody your assets and information. They're mostly French, which is nothing against French people. Love your pastries. Shout out Paris. But it's, you know, it's a very, when a lot of your customers are in the United States, it's a very different way of doing business and communicating. They're a startup. They're tech people, you know, so got to give them some grace.
Yeah. So in it, there was another question about a hardware wallet I'm personally not familiar with. Evan uses a ledger. I've gotten a ledger for someone else in my family before. I personally use a Trezor Model T. I've had it for years. I have never encountered a single reason to do anything else, and I cannot fathom getting a different one. They support anything I'm interested in, and I know the interface. I'm very familiar with it. I don't know. I've never seen a reason to go elsewhere. There are, of course, other options. If there's one that you like for whatever reason, they're probably mostly the same. I just like to go where it's been the most battle tested. And the Trezor security team is just like notoriously battle hardened. They've been around for a long time. So I don't know. It's just where I'm comfy. But if you
it's kind of like a flavor thing. Last night, I wanted to show you guys this. Since Will's not here anymore, it won't be quite as fun. But since we were talking about his skincare routine, yesterday, Alex. So let me say this to everybody: Alex is going to Consensus next week. If you're going to Consensus and you want to hang, call Alex because he's going to be there. He's going to be there with Mac, and they're going to be on the ground talking about the show. They're probably going to be talking about Glass for Breakfast, Shades of Sin, Show 'em, all the cool stuff we've been working on. And we're working on putting a little one-pager together that Alex can give some context to people with about the morning show because we need some of that sponsorship, honey, baby. And I said to Will last night, I said, hey, brother, can you send me a little headshot so I can put it on this one-pager? And before I tell you what I'm going to tell you, remember what he said about his skincare? But what he didn't tell you was that my brother, he also has that Riz cream. Look at this man. Got the chain on his wrist, got the watch on his wrist, got the clasped hands. He's got that lilac shirt on, and he said, baby. Oh, baby. I mean, Alex, here comes Alex. He's putting his hat back on. What did you say the other day when he was doing research on a token? I said, it's time to up our game. You said, it's time to retire.
It's time to retire. Yeah.
But just like Alex prefers the Trezor, I prefer the Ledger. It's, three flavors. You get me, whose shirt may be off. You get Alex, who's like the technician who is not afraid to flip a table on somebody who's doing something unethical. And then you got Will, who shows up in a suit. So for a couple of white guys, we got some variety going on. You know what I mean?
We're doing our best with the least diverse panel of crypto enthusiasts on the internet.
I got to tell you, I saw Tatiana pop in a second ago. I've been picking on her. Our friend Beck is going to come by soon. She's been working on a product launch. She's going to be at Consensus. Beck is going to be there. You should send her a message and say hi to her because that would be great. She's, one of the best, one of our favorites. But that's the plan. So Alex will be at Consensus. We're working on sponsorships. Apparently Retinol is the plug.
Apparently. And Christina mentioned that, or she was asking when Will gets his frames because. Oh yeah, dude. This show is not sponsored by Warby Parker, but it should be. We should just get him some. The official glasses of the official morning show, The Financial Revolution. Oh my God. Is there any cause for the recent crypto drops? Yes, the cause is that everything is up 20, 30, 40, 50% in a week, and that's not sustainable. And people who are up 50% in a week are taking profits. And all of you should be also doing the exact same thing if you're not. So, let that be a lesson to you, because this always happens. It's ranging. It's not going to go up and then stay there forever. It's going to, do the thing. So capitalize on it doing the thing. It's doing the thing.
Yeah. And let that be a gut check for you. If you're really concerned about that volatility, that may be a signal that you're over leveraged. Max says it sometimes, before you get in big, you should just buy $100 of whatever token and see how it makes you feel to experience the volatility of crypto, because this is not the stock market. It's going to go up 10% today and down 10% tomorrow. And then it's going to go up 30%, and then it's not going to do anything for a week. And then you're just going to wake up one day and it's going to be totally red. So you need to just adjust to that if you're going to be speculating on crypto.
And just learn from our pain. If you've been through it before, ignore what I'm about to say because you already know what I'm talking about. if you haven't been through it before, I promise you're not ready. I promise. I promise. You can sit there and think, yep, I'm comfy, until you wake up and look and all of your money is halved and you have the feeling like, oh my God, it's never coming back. That's when you learn. So force yourself to get that experience with a smaller amount. And when people say only invest what you can afford to lose, all too often I see people get blinded by the what I could potentially win and forget that little detail of what I can afford to lose. And I still to this day catch myself having the thought there's no point putting $100 in something, because if it goes up by 2x, I'm only gonna make $100. But if I put in $5,000, then I'm gonna make $5,000 in a day. That blinds you. Greed is blinding, and it will fuck you up every single time. So just, I promise you're not ready for it. If you haven't experienced the, oh God, before, you need to, and just do us all a favor and do it to yourself with a smaller amount of money first.
Yeah. And if you want to start, I think, Alex, you say all the time, like, proper disclaimers and advertisement is the most important thing. One of our, the most people we know who come to crypto come because they're like, wow, it's speculative, it's a casino, it's interesting, I can make a lot of money here. If you want to go play around in what we call the meme coin casino, which is like not Bitcoin, not Ethereum, but Elon's dog and stuff like that, weird tokens, Trump, Bowden, etc. We have a couple of videos on the YouTube page that I think you'll find really helpful. And Alex, we haven't talked about this yet, but one of my goals for this month, June, is I want to send everyone in our Discord like a poll or something and try and figure out what our first kind of live event class could be that we take everybody through. We've got YouTube resources, right? Like how to do your own research, how to be in the meme coin casino and, play around with $10 here and there and make some lottery tickets. But I think folks would really like to hang out with us on a stream that is dedicated to like talking with them, answering their questions back and forth, and then doing one of those things we share limitedly on the stream or in depth on a YouTube video, but like face-to-face, person to person. So the meme coin casino could be one of those things. We'll all take, 25 or $50 and we'll sit down, and you don't even have to spend money. You can just hang out and watch us. Alex and I sometimes will go there, we'll play the slot machines. We'll be on our computers looking at tokens come up and saying, oh dude, I just invested in base Jesus. Here's $10, and now it's 30, and I'm gonna cash out. And what a thrill! Spotting scams in real time. I saw one the other day I wanted to tell you about that. Shout out to Robbie for sending me, where we see bots sometimes, and these bots, they were not doing like the Limu with like 40 cents, 40 cents, 40 cents. This one was doing like $1, $2, $3, $5, $7, $8, $9, $10. The first 100 orders were like that. And then you started to see other people come in because there was hype. And the $1 bot, I didn't follow this in the Blockchain Explorer, but I bet my life it sold for $2. And the $3 bot sold for $6. And then by the time the chart stopped moving, it was because the bots had made their money and it was done. We can help you spot stuff like that. Most of the scams, most of the schemes, they're totally avoidable if you're in a community where you can share what you know, ask some questions, learn and grow together. So
that's probably it, because I mean, the easiest way to get scammed in the meme coin casino is to buy a honeypot, and I don't buy honeypots because it's, to me, and I say this knowing that it's because of my experience looking at them, I've never looked at a honeypot and been like, oh, I wonder if it is or not. It's really obvious that it is. And so that's I guess probably my driving force, is like, if I impart one thing upon people, it's recognize honeypots, because it's always obvious. You can always tell. You can always tell even without looking at the code. You can always tell.
Well, and honestly, beyond honeypots, most of these scams, if you know what to look for, if you're not new to the interface, if you just have someone with you who's done it before, it's almost like going fishing. You look at it and you're like, how the hell am I supposed to get that worm on the hook? How do I make that thing flick out into the water? If you're with somebody who's been fishing for a long time, you'll be catching dinner in no time. You got to kind of sit around. You can learn yourself and fumble around a bit. You can read some stuff, but really, what better way is there to do that, and also to have fun, than when you're hanging out with people who, they've been caught by the hook a couple times, and now they know what to look for. So if that's interesting to you, let me say, please come hang out with us in the Rise Up Morning Show Discord. You can find the link to it at theriseupmorningshow.com, at my profile, at Alex's profile. If you have questions, you can't get there, you're having trouble with the link, send us a comment, send us a message. We'll get you in there. It's totally free to join, ask a question, hang out with us, all our trusted community members, learners at all levels of experience. We have premium services, products there that you can buy to accelerate your learning journey. And I want your feedback on what those courses should be. What should that first event be? Shout out to Robbie, who's given some feedback on that. Shout out to Tori, who's done a ton of help, and all the people who've made it, possible on our journey. You guys really kick butt. Alex, what's your thought? You got a last thought? I'm going to give a last thought in a minute, but I want to know what you're thinking. If you got any last questions you want to touch before we head out.
Three rapid fire things, and then if there's anything else, then I'll see all of you guys in Discord throughout the day. To Joey, the best way to get a hold of Evan and I individually or together, separately, whatever, is in Discord. And yes, the link is in the bios, but we're having some trouble with TikTok bio links and Discord invites right now. So you can always go to the morning show's beacons page, which is just the riseupmorningshow.com. And there's a Discord link there. Beckett, yes, MetaMask is a totally safe application, but that does not mean that you cannot connect it to something unsafe. So you still have to, Joey, sorry, you might have been off the page when I said that. TikTok is throttling Discord links for some reason. We're having trouble getting them to work. So just go to the riseupmorningshow.com and use the Discord invite that's on that page, because for some reason that one works and the other ones don't.
And you can find that through the link in our bios.
Yep. To Beckett's MetaMask question, MetaMask is a totally safe application, but you can get scammed using it because you can connect it to all sorts of stuff and you can easily connect it to something bad. So MetaMask itself is fine. All of the stuff that you might connect it to, not fine. And that's like what you have to learn. That's what you have to, prepare yourself for. And that's why I will again plug the Discord, because if you are unsure about a thing that you might connect it to, drop a link and a comment in the Discord general chat and get a second pair of eyes on it. That's the kind of stuff. Evan and I can look at anything you're going to connect to and immediately tell you if it's a scam. So that's the best way. That's the best way. I wish I had like a one-stop shop lesson to immediately say whether or not something is a scam, but it's just one of those things you gather over years and years and years. Jordan says hi.
Hey, Jordan, what's going on, man?
Someone was asking about the big cap memes. Big memes, established ones. The best way to think about it, they are still very risky. They can go up and down for no reason, drop of a hat, hyper volatile. As volatile as the big cryptos are, they are worse. The only thing you can say about the big ones, Pepe, Bonk, Whiff, Doge, all of those, is that they have established that they're not scams. That's it. Just because something is not a scam does not mean it's going to go up. It could go down. It could go to zero. It could cease to exist. Something funnier could come out and completely derail Whiff. And that's very possible. So you could very easily lose money, but no one can rug it anymore. It's too big. It's gotten to the point where it's spread out enough where there is really no one to rug. Something terrible could still happen, but that's really the only thing is you're not going to get scammed by the project. You might just get hosed by the fact that it is crypto and it's a meme and it's useless and it's only as good as everyone thinks it is.
Well said.
So that's about what you can. It's still very risky. I just want to make that abundantly clear. I'm not saying it's like a safe investment, because it's not an investment. It's still a gamble. You're still pulling a slot machine. You're just pulling a slot machine that you are at least able to tell there's not someone waiting for you to put your money into it, hit you in the back of the head with a baseball bat and run away. Like, that's not going to happen. But the slot machine could still break. I hope that makes sense.
It makes sense. As always, Alex, your analogies are...
Most of my analogies are just like car mechanic references and then me saying get hit in the head with a baseball bat.
Baseball bat is your cudgel of choice, I have noticed, for analogies and otherwise.
Maybe one day I'll mix it up and all of a sudden it'll be a frying pan, but for now, it's a baseball bat.
Yeah. Are you well met, my friend?
I am. So I'll say again, happy birthday. It's always wonderful to do this. It was a great week. Today, Thursday.
Today is Thursday. I'm going to upload the episodes. We'll have them uploaded this weekend. We're going to have the newsletter out to you this weekend. Honestly, a lot of the stuff we've talked about has been ETF related. So I think the newsletter is going to be kind of short because like Monday, the article was this might get approved. And Tuesday, the article was it's getting approved. And, you know, we've just kind of, it's been different flavors of that. So might just be some links that we've talked about, probably a link to DeFi Llama, link to some of the ETF stuff, the Fit21 stuff, might just be a link dump and an invitation again to join the Discord. I want to say, if you have been touched by this show and you want to make a difference in the lives of everyone here, oh, hey, baby.
The rat says happy birthday as well.
Thanks, girly. Thank you, everybody. If you want to make a difference in the show, the life of the show, join the newsletter, join the Discord. It's all at the riseupmorningshow.com, which you can find from our faces. Alex as he's crawling up on the desk. If you want to make a difference in the lives of the show, I want to invite you, give you the opportunity to serve by tapping the link in my bio. I've got a little Cash App there. If you send, I don't expect it at all. You can do free things like tap our screen for likes, join our Discord. But if you want to contribute to the content, I promise you, I'll put it on the blockchain if I need to. The contributions I get for my birthday, they're going towards a new phone. I want to shout out Rick for donating to the phone fund. I want to shout everyone out who's contributed. And if you're like, no, man, you live in a house with walls and you have food every night, you don't need my money, you've got a fine phone, that's cool too. I want to invite you to donate to an organization called the Manna House. It's here in Memphis. I have a video that's pinned in my profile with the link to support this incredible organization that gives the most needed thing, hospitality, to people in poverty, to people living on the streets, experiencing homelessness in Memphis. It's a total dignity first organization. No proselytizing, no do this and then we'll help you. It's as somebody who's been there and done it, it's about the most beneficial thing we can do to establish better relationships while our government is just, you know, screwing things up in terms of supporting the people who need it most. You can donate to them. You can donate to us, and we will use it to get better streaming equipment and do more educational stuff. All at the link in my profile. Manna House is there. My Cash App is there. And you don't have to spend a darn dollar to support this show. But
if you do,
that your support
we're gonna get
matters.
having a phone from the 21st century.
That would be the biggest difference our show. Could you imagine if I showed up one day and you could see every pore on my face because I had that many pixels? Or if I never lagged again? I mean, so, you know, right now I went to film a long form video the other day from my computer, which is the second thing to upgrade, and I uploaded it and it was just so pixel. It was totally unusable, unshareable. And I was like, Alex, I spent 30 minutes doing a take. It was bad. And so, you know, this is the biggest part of my full-time job on TikTok. We're working on sponsorships. We don't expect you to support it. If you want to accelerate it, it is most welcome. That's how you can make a big difference. And that's my pitch. I'm going to go drink another coffee in Grand Marnier, walk some dogs, and then work on this pitch deck for Alex before I eat some ice cream for my birthday.
Perfect.
So thank you, my friends, for hanging out with us, for celebrating, for making it a birthday to remember. We will see you on Monday in the Discord, at the newsletter, and you can find it all at the riseupmorningshow.com. Until next time, my friends, thank you for being here, and rise up.